Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. And let me say, I missed my neighbor, former neighbor, June Jean-Baptiste, deceased now for several years, but we all know her in the CDC or knew her in the CDC as Simile. She would have celebrated her birthday yesterday, and of course, Coco would have been today. We missed them, we missed the both of them. Right, my guest this morning is Miss Sabrina Odol, and Trevor, I know you're listening. She just inquired about your well-being. So she's the president of Hair and Beauty Incorporated, and joining her is, well, I hope I get this right, Dr. Xanthe Dubuison? Xanthe Dubuison. You have no idea how that is spelled, so don't even try to follow up there. And we'll be she is the head of the certification department of the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards, and we are talking the beauty industry and new COVID-19 St. Lucia Bureau of Standards protocols. In fact, it's very important in that, before I go there, how could I have forgotten tomorrow is Commissioner of Police Severin Moshery's birthday. Commissioner, my apologies, coming from the entire bunch. Okay? Right, but I was saying it's very important for us to discuss those protocols because I don't think it was accidental that possibly the last set of businesses to be allowed to open under the government protocols was in fact the beauty and the barbers and the hairdressers and the beauty product store. So perhaps I can ask Sabrina first, why was this? Why?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to the general public. We were putting a number of things in place, and we were doing some online training. We had teamed up with Bureau of Standards and Lucia Collision of Services, and we were trying to create a platform to prepare the general public, to prepare the profession as a whole in establishing the right protocols. And as we know, a lot of them are not doing it correctly. So we figure the best way to protect us and the environment was to put those measures in place before going out there, because we did a lot of direct contact. Okay, so we were very careful, and we worked with Ministry of Commerce also and environmental health in making sure that we didn't just rush through and took our time in opening for the service providers.
Was your approach to the SLBS a mandated approach, or was it something that you as an association decided would have been best for you to get those things in place?
Okay, first of all, when I spoke to Miss Yvonne Airgard, we were trying to figure out what to do, and she said, okay, I think we need to get in touch with Bureau Standards. We wanted to put things in place. And we've already done work with Bureau Standards, and they have put a lot of standards in place for the different sectors in the association members. And we figured that was the best thing to do, is to educate our members, to educate the people in the profession, whether it's nail technicians, hairdressers, barbers, educate them in the right protocol, and that is how we teamed up with Bureau Standards.
Okay, so let's go to Xanthe, Dr. Xanthe Dubuison. Doc, they came to you. What was the Bureau of Standards' position on this?
Good morning, viewers. Good morning, listeners. The Bureau of Standards is always ready and willing to assist.
Folks, that's true. I can tell you that from first-hand information. That's true in the industry, insurance industry. We have had discussions with them, and they don't take any hard and fast positions. I think they discuss it with you. If what you were saying wouldn't work, they tell you that, and they move on. So I just want to endorse that.
So given one of the mandates of the Bureau is to develop standards, of course, to protect the health of the consumers, even that of the environment as well. And so we do have a mechanism in place to develop standards. And given the nature of the beauty and wellness sector, and you asked the question, why was it important that this is one of the sectors that opened, the last? Because in providing the service, of course, you really cannot social distance. You cannot be 6 feet apart from the client. So it's important that you have those protocols established. And so when we received the request, of course, from the Hen Beauty and Spa Professionals Association, we have a technical committee at the Bureau, a Beauty and Wellness Technical Committee, to develop standards for the sector. And over the years, since 2014, we've developed standards for that particular sector. So we brought on our technical committee. Of course, we brought on the Ministry of Health as well, and the Beauty and Wellness Spa Association, and even the St. Lucia Coalition of Services. And we met to develop the protocols for the reopening of the sector. Once those protocols were established, we realized that we would need to inform, to sensitize the practitioners on what the requirements of the protocols are. And so we had a virtual town hall meeting on April 30th, where though we had about 289 persons registered, we had about 180 persons who attended that particular meeting. So we told them about the protocols, what is required of them. And following that, we realized, okay, we've developed the protocols, and I must say that the protocols are right now on the government's COVID-19 dashboard. You can also go to the St. Lucia Bureau Standards website, and you will see the protocols there as well. But we realized, okay, you have the protocols. The protocols is how many pages? A few pages. And we said, okay, what better way can we inform persons? So we decided, okay, let us develop an online training platform for those practitioners. And so we were working behind the scenes to try to develop that online training. So it has not been finalized, so we're hoping that by next week that training platform can be available through the St. Lucia Bureau Standards website for the practitioners. Of course, the objective of that, the training, is to ensure that they understand, not just read, but understand what the requirements are. And the training, we have videos, we have presentations, and people who are speaking on what the requirements are, and following which they will do a quiz as well, and they must have 80% passing that quiz. And so we're hoping that later on that training can be used by the various agencies to as evidence that persons really understand what is required of them.
Okay, so I mean, you had no playbook to go to develop those protocols. I mean, because it's a learning process for everybody. This COVID thing, nobody even, if you'd ask people about that in February, that we would be in this position, you would laugh at them. So what guided you, what informed you in developing those protocols?
In the standards development process, we usually don't start reinvent the wheel. So obviously there were other countries who had done it before, and what we did was to look at the various protocols that had already been established and to adapt them to the St. Lucian context.
Makes sense. Now, Sabrina, as Xanthe said, the sector worked in a particular way. All those years they've been doing it a particular way. How difficult is it now for your members to all of a sudden, the only names they would have in the diary before would have been those people who called in advance an appointment. Now everybody who walks in has to be listed, all kinds of contact information taken, etc. How difficult has it been to adapt?
Honestly, some people do have an issue adapting to it, but if you are trained and trained correctly, all of what's happening now is part of plan, maintain a safe, efficient work environment. Plan and organize your day. So you just don't go to your business and start working. You have to plan. What do you do when you get there? Turn your lights on, clean, disinfect, sanitize, before, after. At the end of the day, you would have done it. Now you have to do it after each and every client. That is a little more. You have to shower before you get a massage. Yeah. You have to make sure that the client washes her hand as soon as she gets there. But these things have already been in place. And as a training provider, these are things I have taught my students. Now you have to implement using gloves throughout the process. It's a bit challenging using gloves when it comes to massaging a full body. But you do it when you're doing a pedicure. It should have been done. You should have done it when you're doing a facial. So honestly, these things have already been in place, and Bureau standards already had those things in place. SLCT vet, these things are under the guidelines when you become a therapist.
Well, the Facebook people seem to be agreeing with you. One person said, "I'm so proud of you, Sabrina." And the other says, "Sabrina is doing such an amazing job with the Beauty Association." So they seem to agree with what you're saying.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so, but in terms of the taking down the names of everybody, is that proving challenging? Because you do have to remember.
No, okay. I own a small business, okay? It is something that have to be done. You do not just come into an establishment with no documentation. It is part of organizing. It also boils down to documenting. If an accident happens, you have to have some level of documentation. All of this is part of your training. So by the wayside, people just forget about everything. It is wrong. You have to keep to standards. And remember, you never know who is coming to your business place. A foreigner could come. You have no liability insurance. What is going to happen? The person go back and say, okay, I went to this place. What is going to happen? So this is something they have to learn to get back doing and not stop after COVID. It is a process. It is a part of our daily lives. You as a professional need to do it. I've been doing it for 30-something years. I've been documenting everything and keep it for at least 6 years.
What's the protocol, either of you, for not those in the chair? Is it allowable to have people on the waiting chairs? Or if so, how many?
It depends on the size of your place. Okay. For me, I could only have 2 persons in. Waiting. The most could be 2, and I never operated like that. You come, you set your appointment, you stick to your appointment. If you run late, I'm sorry, you still have to keep within the same time.
What if you run late?
If I'm running late, then of course I have to make up, but it's hardly. I mean, I'm always there, I'm always on time, and I stick to my schedule.
No, I'm saying sometimes you may think a particular treatment may take place in half an hour, and you find out it runs into 45 minutes.
Exactly. You have to give yourself time to clean up after every client. You never know the nature of the injury. Okay, for instance, a client come in and they say, okay, I just want a back massage, which might take about 35 minutes, depend 25 minutes. But then I realize I have to go deeper. I might have to implement hot stones. This is going to take me more time. So I have to put the higher end of a service rather than the lower end, remembering that I need to clean up after the client.
I mean, I hear you about the protocol, but you know that's not what happens generally.
A lot of people are not doing it. But if you value yourself and your client, you should be doing it. It's not only about making the money. I'm sorry.
Can I just interrupt? You asked the question how difficult it is for persons to actually adhere to these protocols. Now, unfortunately, COVID-19 just appeared on us. But since 2014 or 12, we have been developing standards for the sector. So there is a code of practice for the beauty and wellness sector, and these are the general requirements. So anyone operating a hair salon, a barber shop, spas, gyms, even tattoo establishments, it applies to them. And after that, we developed a series of standards to target the specific specific activities. So we've developed a standard for spas. We also have a standard for tattoo establishments, and the last one, which we developed in 2017, was the particular requirements for hairdressing and barber establishments. Now, if you tell me, we have those standards, and we also have a beauty and wellness certification program at the Bureau Standards. Now, we would, of course, the program is voluntary, and we would like more persons to be using this program. Now, with this COVID-19 pandemic, I'm saying it is easier for the spas who have implemented the standards to adjust to the COVID-19 protocols. But those who have never implemented the standards, it will be challenging for them. So I think with this pandemic, something good comes out of something bad. I think it's an opportunity for persons to right now embrace the standards and to follow the requirements. And Ms. Odol spoke about various requirements, and these requirements are in the standard. It's all written. So what we want for persons is to use the standards, to implement the standards, and to become certified. And I also want the public to also play a part. You go into an establishment, certification is market driven. So if your customers are saying, look, you are not certified, so I'm not coming to your establishment, it will force the practitioners to seek certification. Right now we have the COVID-19 protocols. The public also has a part to play. The protocols are posted on the government's website, they're posted on the Bureau of Standards website. The public should also make themselves aware of what the protocols are. So if you go into an establishment, you don't see any hand washing, you see a barber, for example, shaking the cave that he uses on the client. You see them using the same tools on persons, the same brushes, the same combs. These are things that you can recognize and bring it to the attention of the practitioner as well. And also, of course, you can bring it to the ministry and say,
Right.
okay, well, I went to this establishment and X, Y, and Z is the issue. But what's happening now, the ministry is actually going to the various establishments, and there are establishments that they have begun closing down.
Closing down, definitely.
I mean, you're right, Doc and Sabrina, because, I mean, where I go, for example, even before COVID, you had all those sterilization cubicles where the scissors, the pair of scissors and other things, and those that can't go straight into the liquid are disinfected with the spray. You know? So you're right that, in fact, I would think the vast number of the establishments were doing a lot towards adhering to the standards already. So, but tell me as well, Sabrina, I mean, how is it affecting those businesses now? It must, because, you know, as you quite rightly say, you can only have two people at a time. You can, you know, it must be affecting them.
Okay, speaking on behalf of the executive, because most of us have small businesses, a few persons I spoke to before, even myself included, it is a longer process. You use more gloves because you need to check the temperature. This was the first thing you need to purchase, which is not cheap, right? You have
That's a little machine for
yes,
infrared?
infrared for monitor.
How much is that?
Some places have it as high as 3 something. You could get it online for 90 something US.
But maybe it is something that, if the government is listening, perhaps it's something the government can put as an item which doesn't attract duty.
Okay,
Because
yes.
it's so important now. I mean, it's no longer...
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely. There is consignments for us bringing in anything at
Okay.
present, but you have to go through a process. It is something that we need. So this is the first expense for us, yeah? Then you have to have gloves to clean up before and after. That's an expense.
Are you one of those establishments? Because everybody else seems to have had to hire an additional person by the door to spray up your...
No,
you haven't done that, so your own people do that.
For me, the first thing I do when a client sets an appointment, I send the protocols for them. You got to wear masks. When you come in, you got to wash your hands from the elbow down. You need to do everything. So I send that first.
Okay.
Answer the questions. Have you had a fever? All of those things are in my protocol. I send it out to them. I document it. When they come in, first thing you do, you check the temperature. You document that. You explain it to them. Then they proceed and do everything. You get to a treatment. You need to wear gloves now. That's an expense for them. After the client is finished, remember, you're going to take a shower, you're going to use more water. After the client is finished the massage, I need to physically go in and strip down everything. Everything needs to be clean, disinfect, sanitize, just name it, you got to do it, including mopping. I'm mopping after a client. So this would take me a little longer to do, so I'm using a lot more product. You normally do those things at the end of the day. Now you have to do it after each and every client. So when the client pays me, now you pay before, you do not pay after. You know, I have to make sure I clean down the phone, whether it's my phone, anything, pens, everything. The clients have the special pens. I've even asked clients to come with their own pens, so I don't have to go through that process.
What about the mask?
Oh, you have to wear a mask. Yes.
Does that not you, the client? Does that not interfere sometimes with what you have to do?
No. When you walk in, you need to wear a mask. If you're having a massage, of course, yes, I explained to you that you need to take off the mask. I am protected. I have a mask or a face shield. If I'm doing a facial, I do have a face shield. So I'm protected. That's an extra expense. But at the end of the day, I need to protect myself, my clients, and those coming. Everybody, my family, everybody needs to be protected. So I've got to do the right thing. And those people that I know I have spoken to are doing the right thing. Some are a bit stubborn. They're looking at the cost factor and they're still not doing any social distances. I know some barbers that are not doing anything, using the same clips. Unless something happens and they're going to stop, but we have been appealing to them, please go on our Facebook page, go on Bureau Standard page, just go. We are sending information. We are trying to educate them of the importance of the spread of COVID-19.
Well, Doc, you've set certain standards which are being adhered to by and large. Even as they're doing that, are they being reviewed to see perhaps we may have missed something yesterday, last week, that something else needs to be done, or is it just a static thing at the moment?
Well, for now, the protocols have been established, and the onus is upon the establishment to implement the requirements. However, these establishments are going to be monitored by the Ministry of Health. They're going to actually go into the establishments to see whether or not those protocols are being followed. However, as I said, there are standards available for the sector, so now is the time to really embrace those standards, to get this copy of the standards. You can purchase a copy of the standard from the Signature Bill of Standards to see what is required. Of course, if you require assistance in implementing, assistance can be sought from the Signature Commission of Services to implement the requirements.
Let me go back to Sabrina. A commissioner of police in one of the territories once said that a beauty salon is the best evidence room any police officer can have, because secrets come out between clients and the proprietors. That kind of conversation that is normally had between the two of you, how has that been affected? Or do you just work in silence now?
Okay. Okay. I am speaking as a massage therapist, esthetician. Yes, clients speak. That is why when you're trained, you're guided accordingly. You have to listen to the client and know when to speak. It is top secret. Mm-hmm. You do not spill the beans.
Absolutely.
However, there's a notion that the barbers and the hairdressers, this is the place to go and get, everything. But if you have studied and you're certified and you're educated and you believe in people's privacy, you will do the right thing and keep the social distancing. You're not supposed to go into an establishment where it's crowded. You're going there to be at peace, to be relaxed, so there's no need to be crowded. And this is my thing. That is why I operate like that, by appointments. And I know a number of persons who stick to appointments. So probably on the way out, depends on the establishment. If there are 3 or 4 therapists, then you'd find they would have more persons. But if you put peaceful music, relaxing, calming music, I don't want to be talking. I want to enjoy, so that when I go in, I could get a...
Need a DJ like Big Slim to play that soothing, relaxing music. But you would say though, Sabrina and Doc, that generally it's been a week or 2 you've been reopened?
Yeah, the 18th. Some people started opening. Well,
right. So let's say about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How has it been?
Some people are saying, from what I have understood, that there's some services they cannot perform anymore, like the massages, because you need warm water to shower before. They cannot do body scrubs because they don't have the financing to purchase a solar, hot water, whatever. And some of them, where they're renting, it's just a small room, so they cannot afford to go through the process. So they're doing less clients. And because of the continuous cleaning, that you cannot work long hours. Trust me, it's a lot more strenuous on you. So they are actually working less hours, but at the same time they're saying, they wish they could work for a longer time. I know people that would work up until midnight, 1 o'clock, and they cannot do that.
That's right, yeah.
Yes, but it's not fair for you as an individual in that profession to be working so many hours, because as a massage therapist, you receive from the client the same way you give. So if I'm drained after my 5th massage, there's no way I should be doing another one. So at the end of the day, your health is very important, and during the COVID, it's even more apparent for you to take better care of yourself, eating properly, exercising, drinking your water. And that's how I see it. But some people have the notion that they should just be going and going and going, but you'll be worn out eventually.
Okay, right. So let's take another break. When we come back, we'll open the lines 451-7260, and you can add your piece. You call us if you want to say something, if you want to ask a question, or if you want to make a comment. Feel free to do so by calling at 451-7260 or WhatsApping me at 484-3113. Back in a moment.
With Raz.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us, Anyway, I better not say that. The number to call, 451-7260. The voice you will hear, if you're lucky, is Big Slim's. And by the time you hear his voice, you might want to speak to me again. But folks, we're just kidding. 451-7260 is the number to call, or you can text me at 484-3113. Do we have a call, Dix? I think we have our first call. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, Mr. Francis.
Sir.
Moderator Tom Walcott here.
How are you, sir?
Oh, just holding.
All right.
Just holding.
You sound pretty strong.
I got a submission in the House by Honorable Stephenson King about certain capital work projects they were doing. And one of which he dealt with is the proposed new bridge. I would suggest that Honorable Stephenson King get some varied contributions from certain individuals in the community before he decides to launch on that project. There is a very interesting report written by a Canadian firm. It's about 6 years old. He should get hold of that and see about flooding in the Cul-de-sac Valley and even the proposed bridges they were going to use. And it seems in their submission, the answer was to accommodate the flooding rather trying to control the flooding. Accommodate rather than trying to control. So I am, as a solution, and one who's been around a while, I could give some suggestions which I'm sure would help in saving rather than wasting. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate that, Tom.
Thank you.
Former civil engineer Tom Walcott, sounding as strong as ever, never stops reminding me that he's in his 80s and he can do more push-ups than I can. At least that's what he says. That's my friend, so I ain't going to dispute that. 451-7260, or you can text me at 484-3113. I think we answered that question, but somebody asked how many are allowed in the shop. You did say it was based on the size of the...
Definitely.
And they also asked, Doc, that how can we be sure the protocols have been followed? But you did say that the Ministry of Health is...
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello?
Hi, go ahead.
Hi, my question is for Sabrina. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon there.
Okay, so how can we as clients or customers be confident that the beauticians, hairdressers, nail technicians are taking the necessary protocol in order to prevent or, stop any bacterial transmissions among customers and, salons and etc. But especially with the equipment that they use on the customers, considering COVID-19.
Thanks for the question. Okay. First of all, you could visit Bureau Standards webpage. You could go on Facebook, our Facebook page. You could go on the government dashboard and you'll see the protocols. When you visit an establishment, make sure you look for those protocols. If you don't see it, you run. If you you run. If you love the person that is giving you service, you educate them. Yeah? Because at the end of the day, it is all over the news that you should see some level of signage, washing your hands, using the sanitizer, whether they have it in a spray bottle. If they're going to take the temperature checks, are they going to ask you questions upon arrival?
All right.
And if when you go in and you find that everything is working okay, and you go in and you see they're going to a drawer that looks like a dusty,
right?
I'm sorry, run. And you tell them that this is not allowed and it should not have been allowed before, and you're definitely not going to accept it now. You want to see that the therapists wash their hands. You want to see that they're literally using a new cape, and if they don't, you need to educate them, direct them to the right platforms.
Okay. So is there something like I visited an establishment for treatment and I noticed that person is not following the protocol and I feel threatened? Is there a way that I don't want to sound snobbish and say report them, but at least it would be for their own benefit that they stick within the guidelines?
Definitely. Thanks for that question. And I've been getting a number of those questions. A number of persons have actually reached out to me and reached out to our Facebook page, and we direct some of those concerns to the right set of people. Some of them I have literally spoken to directly. My executive have actually spoken to them also, and making sure that they do the right thing. The public out there, I ask you to please, when you go out there, make sure that you see your therapist, the practitioner, doing the right thing.
Right.
You cannot afford to take chances. Not just for the COVID-19, but generally you should not be taking a chance. If the place doesn't look right, please leave. And if people keep doing that, they will have second guess and start doing the right thing. And this is my main concern about it. You need to protect yourself and you need to protect your family.
Right. Well, I think the association should have some sort of implementation, like a certificate or something, stating that this salon or establishment has passed the guidelines. And, it can be as a simple form of a sticker, just like with the health and restaurants and eating.
A certificate is only as good as the day is given, eh?
Okay. Yeah. That's true.
You can pass today and go back to your bad behavior tomorrow.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Can I make
of course.
She is correct. These are some of our action plans. We started and we're implementing it. And we do have an online course coming up with Bureau Standards, where some of our executive members and training providers put some guidelines in place. The association is working in that direction. We just, need to see how fast we could get there. And we will also be going around the business places, trying to educate them. And this is the main thing, educating the public, educating the therapists. And I speak to them, and I know my executive goes out there and they're speaking to them.
Okay.
And we need to do things correctly.
Yeah. And
Perfect.
we know the focus right now is on implementing the protocols, the COVID guidelines. But moving forward, what we want is for persons to get a copy of the standard, implement the requirements, and as I said, we have a certification program. So the certification program is about going into the establishment, doing an inspection, seeing whether or not they meet the requirements of the standard, giving them a certificate, doing surveillance as well to ensure that they continue to meet the requirements. So in the future, what we would like to see is for persons becoming certified and having that certificate saying that you have been certified to provide the service. But for now, the emphasis is on the protocols. We know persons had to open because many persons,
Self-employed,
suffered a lot of loss. And so for now, you need to implement the protocols. And as I said, Ministry of Health, they are going around. I mean, they cannot get to everybody at one time, but they are going around the establishments. And as a client as well, consumers, you said that if you see something, of course, you can report it.
The duty is yours as well.
To report it. And one of the first things the protocol requires is that you screen the client. So if you go into an establishment, nobody has asked you anything, whether you've had a cough, whether you've had a fever, have you been around anyone exhibiting these symptoms in the past 14 days? Are you living with anyone who's sick or in quarantine? That's questions that they need to ask you. And even we recommend that it's asked before you come to the establishment, so that you don't have time to get there and we say, okay, wow, you're coughing, and then we have to. So we recommend that you ask the questions while you're making the appointment with the client.
And one of the things, they need to document it in front of you. So if any tracing, they would have that document. Yeah?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks.
That answers my question.
Okay,
thank you,
thanks a
Sabrina.
million. 451-7260 is the number to call. And you're getting the responses. You have another call. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, Mr. Francis, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your guests as well.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, first of all, Mr. Francis, let me thank you again for always debunking the myths and the lies, as somebody would say, slim at 11, or bringing the truth to light. And I am saying this on the clarification of the last piece of legislation that was enacted in the House of Assembly on Wednesday morning. And in saying this, Mr. Francis, in closing, let me also say it is no incident or coincidence that we would get those kind of legislation. It was sometime in 1982 when the former UWP governor, Attorney General at the time, Leonard Riviere, had written this piece of legislation with the David England legislation. And
well, to be fair, he didn't write the legislation. The law was always there. What he did was implement it and pass an SI called the David England deportation order.
Yeah, and
but
then
the law was always there.
And then the late George Odol, in an article written in the Crusader under the heading of Quick Quack, had described Leonard Dada Riviere at 5 feet and 140 pounds, a diminutive man, not fit to descend on an errand, an unmeritable man, and George Odlum. And the reason why I'm saying that it fits in with our current Minister of Tourism in that stature and in that light. Thank you.
All right, 451-7260 is the number to call if you want to chat with us. My guests are ready and willing and able to answer all of your questions, and so many people. But in the hairdressing section, bearing in mind that COVID has restricted nighttime activity, do our hairdressers still get a lot of customers?
Well, they get their fair amount. It's just that, you have to cut out a certain time so that you could get to your home. I mean, curfew is till 9, so some of them would work earlier, like 7 o'clock in the morning, and try to finish about 6. So some of them travel far,
Hello?
Oh, we have a call. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm calling concerning, of course, she was saying that with the beauticians having to follow protocols in the midst of COVID and all these different stipulations on how they have to conduct business, what I would like to know is, being that they have to do all of this, are they now going to raise the prices of the services?
Okay, that's a good question. The onus is on you, but when you look at it, most of the guidelines you should have been following, and it should have been implemented in your prices. The only thing new, of course, would be the temperature check. You needed to purchase a thermometer, yeah? you still need to wear gloves performing your services, right? You might use a little more water because you're mopping up a little. So, yes, you need to wear a cape or a smock for each client, a mask for each client. So that is the cost that you would occur right now. So I think there can be a slight increase, but you have to be very careful, because remember, most people are not working, whoever have lost their jobs. And if you want your client to come back, I don't think right now would be the time to increase, but you work with your client, or your client could work with you. In the long run, when things start getting better, they might be in a position to have that increase. But right now, I know it is a bit costly for us to operate, but just let us see. Don't just go hiking up our prices. Let us be very careful, because we want people to come to us.
Okay, so what you're saying, for persons who would want to implement an additional charge for an extra $5 on their service, there's no wrong in them doing so? Like they won't be.
Well, no, it's not a price control. It's not a price controlled establishment, so
it's not. You just have to be careful with your increase, and you have to you need to speak to your clients. You need to educate them. Listen, this is what is costing me now to do that very service to you. I will increase my prices, okay? You just have to be careful, but you need to communicate with your clients. That's the bottom line. You need to communicate with your clients. Your clients are going to see you doing the right thing, which is wearing a cape, wearing a mask, washing your hands more often, having them shower. You said you're a beautician. All of those things, the clients will observe that you're doing, and it's a cost. So they would agree.
I think at the end of the day, the client is primarily interested in the quality of service.
It is a fact. It is. Some of them don't mind paying the difference. I've had clients that say, okay, I'm going to increase. I'm saying, no, not to say that it's okay. You know
what in mind. Caller, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here, because I still have another question.
Sure, go ahead.
You were saying something about the showering. For establishments that don't have the space for the shower facilities, how that's a cost that has to be incurred by let's say me, I now have to go and build a stall where they have to shower and all these different things.
Is that a requirement?
It is. It is a requirement for massage.
That's for massage, you call it. You have a massage parlor?
Yeah, she's a beautician.
Oh, that's what you said. Okay.
One of the things I'm going to say in light of this question, a lot of persons are not certified, whether it be international, whether it be CVQ right here in St. Lucia.
And that's personnel.
Yes, that's personnel. You have to be licensed as a massage therapist. There are guidelines and protocols. You do not just go and open an establishment. You have environmental health that need to come around your place, and they would have guided you based on the checklist, right? You have allied health. You have Bureau standards. So you would have known in advance that you needed a shower in your treatment room or in the facility before you went opening to the public.
So it's okay.
Okay.
So these are things.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Okay. These are things that just been implemented, but they've always been there.
They've always been there. You have.
There's always. The reality of COVID is that some things are going to cost more. So, for example, an omnibus which carried 15 people before, they now have to carry between 7 and 9 at the same price. That's not going to work.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
So
they're going to be using more protective.
But we just got a text from says, "Hi Claudius, I understand from your guest that some of the spa operators can no longer provide some of the services because of the new protocols. For instance, the need for hot water. The St. Lucia Development Bank, under its climate adaptation financing facility, can provide assistance at low cost to install solar hot water systems, and they can be contacted at 456-7532 or 456-7540.
Thank you so much. Yes, we did. I was in a meeting and Mr. Boland spoke about certain things coming up. Yes.
So let's take our final call. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, good afternoon, Claudius. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah, ladies, good day and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Claudius, I'm calling in connection with this gentleman who made a call on this morning on Andrew.
Oh, I didn't hear. You mean on Andy's show?
Yeah, sorry, and Andy show.
Yeah.
I said Andrew, sorry.
I didn't hear, but somebody called me to say that, yes.
Yeah, but let me tell you, this gentleman is notorious for distorting facts.
Oh, okay. I don't know who called.
No, I know him. He has a history. This guy did so much damage to the Labour Party leading up to the election and blamed the Labour Party for so many things, you know. But I want you to try and know this guy and challenge him.
Well, you can give me a call. Give me a call after the show at 484-3113.
Okay.
But I wouldn't want you calling his name on.
No, I wouldn't do that. No.
Yeah.
I know better than that.
Oh, you know better than him. Thanks a lot, sir. Call me after the show.
Keep it up.
All right, buddy. Thanks a million. Well,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me get Doc and Sabrina to give us final words.
Okay. First of all, I want to say to the general public, please be aware when you go out, watch your surroundings when you go to the spas. I also want to speak to the nail technicians, hairdressers, barbers, service providers. Please follow the protocols. If you are not CVQ certified, if you're not allied licensed, please try to do that. You could also go on e-learning platform. They have programs available. You could get in contact with SLCT Vet for your certification. You have Bureau Standards who have a certification course. You could reach out to the association, visit our Facebook, our Instagram page. You could reach me on 716-7031. Please, we are here for you. We are the link, and we want our professionals, our providers to be certified and to be professionals, not just for St. Lucia, but for the wider public. Thank you.
Yes, and I think it's important in the future that persons get a copy of the standards so that they can implement the requirements, and recognizing the need now for understanding what the protocols are. We have done a lot of hard work in developing that online training platform, and it's going to be available on the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards website. We're going through a little tiffin issues now. We're working with a local agency. It's a platform where you can go, and actually the course is free. So you would go, you do the course, and we have an assessment you do at the end to determine whether or not you have understood the requirements. What I'm hoping that is in the future, agencies can use the certificate that you will get from having done that course. We can use it as a demonstration that you actually understand the requirements. So in our certification programs, we're going to look at it as a requirement. You need to do that. I think the Ministry of Health also has embraced that online training platform.
Yes.
And so in the future, they're going to be asking the practitioners to actually go online and do the course. The association as well will also ask the members to do the course. So hopefully by next week, we will have that online platform available on our website for everyone.
Just one more thing. I just want to say thank you to all those persons who have come aboard to be with us and partner with us. Bureau Standards, St. Lucia Coalitions of Services, which is Yvonne Agad, even NTN who had us on the program, HTS, we want to say thank you. My executive who's working very hard, I want to say thank you. Maria, Vice President, who is manning the page of our Facebook. I mean, I cannot keep up with her.
Yeah, we have political, and she's a woman in the page.
Yes. We have Margaret, of course, who's our secretary. We have Jonella, which is the secretary. We have Janine, who is the treasurer for Down South, who's doing a great job going around the barbers. She's also a trainer and an auditor, and she's doing some work with the trainer, the Shosel Secondary School, getting them cosmetology level 1. I also want to thank, did I miss anybody? Myself, okay, President, you could reach out to me. Did I miss anybody? Louis King, who is also the PRO.
That's a CDC person.
Yes, you know. So I want to say thank you to everybody. Ministry of Commerce, actually, Esley, who is also working with us. Environmental Health, Mr. Vitalis and Gearbox. I mean, he's reached out to me, and as even Miller is really, yes.
Mr. Davis Herman.
Yeah, he is, I'm not sure of his first name, I just
And
call him
especially the
Airpods.
technical committee members
yes.
for the Beauty and Wellness Technical Committee, they have put in a lot of hours.
Yes, definitely. So we want to say thank you, Claudius. Thank you for having
you're
us
most
on
welcome.
your show. Thanks so much.
So folks, Sabrina gave me a whole long name there that since we only have 1 hour left, I can't call that in. But let me say thanks to Sabrina Odol, President of Hair and Beauty Incorporated. She'll give a real name afterwards. And Dr. Xanthe Dubuison, Head of the Certification Department of the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards, who graced me with the presence today. Thank you very much to both of you. And thanks to all of you who called, text, or in any other way participated. We thank you for that.